quarterback Kirk Cousins as they'll take on Josh McCown and the New York Jets. I'll be back with you again.
Met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down.
All right, now here we go. Let's go.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to get this inside the 30. The numbers for him from a week ago. And Charles, how do you think he ran the football?
I thought he definitely had his moments. I did think that they could have utilized him a little bit better, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye on him to see how they're going to use him this week.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Eventually wrangled down before reaching the 20, but a strong run. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2. And they'll run it here. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues.
Looks like they're establishing a pretty good pattern here because they've been very heavy in the running game on the last 4 plays.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. So far, 4 plays in this drive, all 4 on the ground. Now they'll run it on the toss. Oh, and he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. A great play there with a lucky number 13 touchdowns now on the year. And the Vikings have taken a first-quarter lead. First-quarter touchdown run. Remember this coming on the heels of his inept. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4. Getting the sense, Charles, they're going to put a big emphasis this afternoon on the run game.
And why not? What we're seeing so far, working pretty well from them. And here's the best part. We always talk about the best performers do their job when the lights come on. I think he likes natural light best.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And now running right through it. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. That one good for 16, and the drive will continue. One thing's for sure, this defense has to figure out how to stop the ground game. He's eating them up here in the first quarter.
It looks like they have to go to different forces, aren't they? The conventional things aren't working too well. So I remember a coach of mine saying way back when a back's having a great game, you've got to get the ball out of his hands. See how far he can run without the ball. And what he meant was takeaways, knock it loose, because maybe you can't just stop him with just regular tackling.
And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. A great effort there with his 2nd touchdown in this opening quarter. And the Vikings are going to add on to their lead. And a pair of rushing touchdowns now for him in the first quarter.
Let's go.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll take this down just shy of the 25-yard line. Back now with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Second quarter begins with the Vikings holding the football. They face a 2nd and 7 to start things out. They'll run it now out of the gun. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. Avery Williamson there to make the stop.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll have the first down, getting this one to the 14-yard line. They get 6 on the pickup there as the drive will continue.
So it's pretty simple, partner. You pick up a turnover, set you up in excellent field position. The last thing you want to do is go 3 and out in this spot.
Yeah, they would have had to settle for a field goal attempt, but now they keep those touchdown hopes alive. And he takes us down to about the 12 for a gain of 3.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball. And that way, you often control the game.
And they'll go on the ground. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. A great play there. On his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Vikings find a way to stretch their lead. This is becoming quite the half he's had here.
Remember in our pregame meetings, they talked about wanting to run the football and staying with it?
They'll run it now out of the gun. So he got free of one tackle but couldn't do a whole lot else. It's Steve McClendon that time who winds up getting him down.
When we see those runs to the perimeter, when we see those runs to the edge, we think about big breakers, don't we? In this case, it was a modest gain, but it does open up possibilities here on 2nd down.
Now they'll run it on the toss. He knocks him back. Oh, and now he pulls him over. And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. That's good for 21 yards and a first down.
Outside handoff to the right side. If you're a running back, you love getting the ball early so you have vision to see what's happening in front of you.
Right tackle likes that call. Big play for him. But don't forget about the guys you always tell me on the backside sealing off.
When they talk about cutoff blocks, making sure no one can leak from the backside that can run a play down.
Yeah, nobody leaked. Big play. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. Back-to-back nice plays. 12 yards that time and a first down. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. We'll come back to MetLife Stadium after this short timeout. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. A strong broken tackle on that one. And then they get him to the ground just shy of the 15. That's what they needed. It's an 8-yard gain, and now 3rd and 4 suddenly doesn't look so bad. They'll run it now out of the gun. So a nice job to break the one tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. Now here's a timeout defensively. Defensive time. Now the Vikings offense works their way back onto the field. And we'll see how this is played. Offensively, they've got the lead. Not a whole lot of time left. What do you think, Charles?
Well, it's tempting to try and add to your lead, but a mistake there.
Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. And that one results in 35 yards. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as the clock will stop with just under 30 seconds to go in the first half.
Bring the energy. Here we go.
Now they'll run it on the toss. Slipped one tackle, but no more, as he's knocked to the deck behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively, because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. On third down, Cousins. And that is incomplete. 7 seconds remaining. Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the third. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. They'll run it now out of the gun. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Give them 12 yards on that one. It earns them a fresh set of downs.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point. Going to make that defense stand up and stop them.
Let's go.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll go down right around the 47 this time. That one good for 10 yards. And that'll make it second and a foot or so.
Bart, I remember a coaching friend of mine used to tell his running backs before games, make sure you run and jog with your offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking when those big behemoths start to create space for you up front. He did a pretty good job of just following those guys through there for a nice explosive run.
And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield.
Well, Brandon, he's had a great day, and sometimes that just happens. It is the NFL. They will make some plays against you.
The Vikings on third down, just 1 for 3 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 2. And they'll go with a ground attack here. It's an 8-yard pickup and leads to a new set of downs.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. What's that, 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive. And like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it. Now a handoff looking right. Room here to run. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
Third quarter, and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And they're running right through it. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. 5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. And they'll go ground game here with a tailback. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. Yeah, give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down, a very solid gain on that play.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll be a couple yards shy of the red zone here at the 22-yard line. 8 yards on the pickup there, and it moves the sticks.
In my book, that's running the ball well, but with intelligence. How about him keeping the clock moving, staying in bounds?
Yeah, even though it's the 3rd quarter, you're thinking ahead, aren't you? This is where your running game can really help you with a lead in the 2nd half.
I agree totally. It's not just end-of-the-half situations that you worry about the clock. It's throughout the game. And with a lead, stay in bounds. Make them fight harder to try and catch you.
He takes it to the 15. A nice display of power. That gives him a nice pickup. A lot to praise on this drive, obviously. I know you're seeing what I'm seeing. Those guys up front, they're getting it done.
Doesn't matter what play is called. They are handling their business at the line of scrimmage and dominating right now on this drive.
Yellow, yellow, yellow. Yellow. Carry.
And on the ground they go with a running back. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. A great effort there. 15 yards. And the Vikings offense continues to pour it on. And that rushing touchdown is 4th, puts him just 1 shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it. But he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's...
They'll run it now out of the gun. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. Give him 3 on 1st down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
Well, Brandon, pace comes into play now because they've got the advantage. They've got the football, but they've got to be very careful about what speed they're going to play. You know, my music teacher back in New Paltz, Mrs. Bythema Bagley, used to say, don't go prestissimo when you really want to go largo. And what she meant by that is don't go too fast when you really want to go at a nice, slow, deliberate pace.
I am speechless. I am without speech.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
The hut! On Andy! Watch the edge!
And they'll run it here. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave them with a 4th down. Now they'll run it on the toss. And this is going to come up well short as they stop him on 4th down. Mike Zimmer got to be unhappy with how that... Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup, let him get some time?
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row. There were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. You know, these guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game. And that's always puzzled me a little bit.
Well, they don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway.
We got three, fellas. Where's the hot?
Cousins from the gun on third. It's complete to Diggs. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34. And now out comes Minnesota. They have the big cushion here in the final stages of this one. I don't know if there's any better feeling than being up big on the road.
There really can't be, because for a team to go on the road and win in the NFL, that's huge to begin with. But just think about all the preparation that went into it. When they first started talking about this game, leading up to it during the week, going on the road, unfamiliar city, obviously, unfamiliar hotel. No one's going to be with you once you get to the stadium. They're all going to be against you. You name it, all those things they had to deal with, they were able to conquer them and do it convincingly.
Yeah, they did it very convincingly, and now the final moments of this one. And they'll go on the ground. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. Buster Skrine is able to bring him down.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
The Vikings on third down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This time it's 3rd and 3.
Alert! The hot! 180! Where's the hot?
Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping.
Encroachment, defense.
A little eager there coming in from his outside linebacker position.
You think the hard count got in there?
Yes.
Maybe that extra that extra emphasis on it. Got him to jump, and they picked up 5 yards.
Maybe a critical mistake at this juncture is now they've got a 1st and 10. And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. So he got free of 1 tackle but couldn't do a whole lot else.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down, a very solid gain on that play.
Well, Charles, the forecast called for rain throughout the entire game, and we got rain throughout the entire game. But these two teams, they had fun getting dirty out there. They love the slop.
Did you trust the forecast?